acknowledge, it's an acquiescence. Yeah. Well, if I'm like my mother, I will age into a cataract show, laser face, so. All right, what's in here? Well, yeah, these are the same. Yeah, my wife bought them.
Wait, so I could have just got these at the dollar store.
I'll ask her about it. I mean, yeah. Well, it's right. My wife said we got 80% off. We got $200. Wow. See why people freak out. Hey, Ronnie!
The idea of being pregnant scares her, and the monthly cramps and mood swings is a sadistic gift she can do without. And I still didn't know exactly what a period was. I asked my mom, and she mutters, "This is when a girl becomes a woman." My sister's horrified. I'm jealous. My sister's becoming a woman, she doesn't even appreciate it. What a waste. To her, it's the end of her childhood, a forced entry into an adult body before she is ready. She doesn't want to become a woman because she doesn't feel like one. She feels like a 11-year-old girl. I want to experience womanhood. To me, it's the sacred rite of passage that God passed to Eve, the first woman, the ideal woman, and who passed along to all of her daughters as a reminder of how special she is. My sister assures me it's not as great as it sounds, but I ignore her complaints. And having an older sister was difficult. I had to watch her grow older while I was left trailing behind, never able to catch up. She started birth control at 14. She started wearing bras and developing hips while I remained flat and figureless. But of course, 3 years didn't seem like a big difference back then, but it was a lifetime. When we were little, things were less complicated. We would play together for hours, just the two of us. But I still remember when the chasm started to grow between us. And I run to the kitchen and ask my mom, "When will I get my period?" And she looks at me for a moment and frowns a little and says, "Oh, honey, you're a little confused. Boys don't have periods."
I'm a nice person, in general. Maybe that's the problem. I don't speak up when I'm upset. I just figure, it's my problem. Get over it. Why bother anyone else with it? That's just greedy. Maybe I'm the type of woman who has take advantage of me tattooed on her forehead. I don't know, but I've had 3 boyfriends in the past 6 years, and all of them have cheated on me. All of them. What was it about the last one that really set me off? We met in a choir. Not professional. I mean, he's professional. He has a band. But he admitted to me that the only reason he joined was to meet musical women, which I don't understand, and frankly, I should have taken it as a warning instead of being flattered, which I was. So he calls me, and he tells me it's over. There's someone else. She probably has perfect pitch, I find myself thinking. And then I go quiet on the phone. Deathly quiet. And all I can remember is grabbing my coat, walking out the door, hailing a cab, and then stopping on the way to his place to grab a value pack of 12 pork chops. And when I get to his house, I let myself in, because I still have a key, right? And I go to his voicemail, and I change his outgoing message to, "Hi, you've reached Jack's Dungeon. For axe play, press 1. For water sports, press 2. If you're a woman with low self-esteem and don't mind a man who treats you badly and farts in his sleep, please leave a message for Jack after the beep." And then I go around his apartment hiding pork chops in places I know he won't find them right away. And then I go to where his band is playing. And I leave the door open, because it's not the nicest building, right? And I go over to where his band is playing, and it's raining, and my hair is wet and stringy, and my makeup's running down my face, and I kind of look like Sissy Spacek from Carrie, right? And I get to the bar, and I just feel kind of possessed, like nothing matters anymore. So I walk up to the stage until he notices me, and he says to me, "Jesus Christ, honey, what are you doing here?" And I take the microphone from out of his hand, and this voice comes out of me saying, "Cheater, cheater, cheater." And the audience looks at me with big gaping mouths like I'm about to pull out a gun and shoot him, but I don't. And instead, I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, it may interest you to know that the man who fronts this band, the man you all came to see tonight, this good-for-nothing, flesh sack of a man, is nothing more than a dirty fucking cheater." And then the audience gasps, and I look around and I say, "Surely someone here has been cheated on." And almost all the ladies raise their hands, and some of the guys too. And I sit there and I look at them and I say, "You know what I say to that? Fuck them. Fuck them! You know, normally I'm a nice person, but there comes a time where a nice person just has to get mad, and she just has to stand up for herself. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but god damn it, I deserve to be happy, and I'm going to live to see the day that I am. And this man will not know what he missed out on, because I'm going to be so happy, 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 and if believe me when I tell you I am normally a nice person. I'll tell you the funny part, though. Actually, it's not the funny part. It's the awful part. I still miss him. You think, after all that, I'd know better. I'd be satisfied. But I'm not.
When I was 5, I hit my brother in the face with a hammer. Because he deserved it. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think that what I did was wrong? Do you? Well, fuck you. Fuck you. You think it matters what we think? It doesn't. We're nothing. Nobodies. In the grand scheme of everything, we're a speck in space and time. You think our laws, our ethics, our morals mean anything? You're fucking delusional. They're ideas, notions, concepts in transition. The Bible says, thou shalt not kill. But we're still strapping people down to tables and injecting them with lethal drugs as we read to them from the Bible. 30 years ago, we were sterilizing people with substandard IQs so that the stupid couldn't spread. And this all happened here, in good old Canada, our home and native land. Where we built our homes, literally on the natives' land. We won't teach our kids about sex, but we'll let them watch HBO. Come on, we're confused morally. So we asked God what to do. Which God? Whose God? The one who spoke to Charles Manson? The one who convinced a bunch of poor, undereducated schmucks to fly a plane into a building for some hypothetical afterlife orgy? The one who hates gay people? Fuck that guy. So what do? We buy pins or ribbons or those little yellow bracelets they sell at Starbucks or Home Depot. Those bracelets aren't for cancer. They're for you. So you can look down at yourself and feel like a better person because you're wearing your humanity on your sleeve. But we just want to do the right thing, right? So who do we talk to? A lawyer? About morals? Ha! Your parents? They just want you to grow the fuck up. A therapist? He's just gonna sit there and listen and say, how does that make you feel? Take your money and schedule the next appointment. What about what Danny Tanner says, the dad on Full House? Use what's in your heart. You wanna know what's in my heart? Blood. That's it. We don't know what's right anymore because right does not exist. We can justify anything. This is complicated stuff. I can uncomplicate it. Here's what you want. You want what's best for you, right now. What are you gonna do? You want help. I want to help you. I can help you. I can make it easy. This is where we begin. 1 hour, cash only.
The bloodstain didn't come out. I tried soap and salt and hydrogen peroxide. I soaked and scrubbed. The red feathered and faded, and eventually I couldn't see the faint outline of the stain. Victory? Guess not. Because when I arrived at the cafe, Amber's eyes flicked right to my collar, and I know she could see some discoloration. I wonder if that will count against me. She looks healthy. This girl, Amber, like she drinks wheatgrass smoothies and goes to Pilates and remembers to floss. Blind date jackpot. Duncan, she says. Can she see it? Not the stain on the collar of my favorite shirt, but the faint discoloration and the dark skin under my eyes, cynicism in the lines around my mouth, the dysfunctional fold of doomed romance leaking from my skin, invisible and toxic as a fatal dose of radiation. You're not what I expected. She smiles, a big, white smile. I know exactly what you mean. Charlie, my ex, loved nature programs. She would sit down with a bowl of popcorn and crunch and smack while fishing spiders lunged after tadpoles and hyenas caught young elephants away from the herd. It's better than a movie, she'd say. No bitching about morality. It is what it is. If you tried to sit down next to her, she would growl and nip at your fingers and ears with carnivorous glee until you had to tackle her into the couch cushions. Amber orders a macchiato. I wonder what food and beverage selection will telegraph normal. Black coffee? Grilled sandwich? Try says you're getting over a breakup. working at it. I shrug. I will assign no blame, tell no stories. I won't even think her name for fear of what it might summon up. Amber fiddles with the phone on her drink and blushes neck to hairline. Sorry, I know we're not supposed to talk about that sort of thing. Unhealthy. This girl with big brown eyes has never started a bar fight, has never poisoned anyone's plants or pets. As compared to what? I ask. You know, I don't know what I thought love was before, Charlie. Some sugary feeling full of hearts and flowers and other shit you'd find in a Lucky Charms box, maybe. Here's what I do know. Love is a derailed train that smashes into you and drags you for miles. Love is a gangrene. Even if you amputate it in time, there are pieces of you will never get back. Love is a rusty bear trap, a grease fire, a fucking swarm of piranhas. The first time I told Charlie I loved her, she said, "Break my heart and I'll hit you with my car." And I laughed at the serious expression on her heart-shaped face. "I'm not kidding," she said. Amber loops her arms through mine while I walk her home. She's telling me her secrets for how to get on with your life. I just try to reimagine myself, she says. New haircut, new clothes, new friends. Get rid of all the things you hate about yourself. Clean slate. It's that easy. No. You feel like a fraud for months, but then one day you don't. She pulls free and spins in the street lamp's orange cast-off. This, she gestures to herself, is the product of some serious effort. I laugh. But when we cross the street, I check the faces of stop drivers, just in case. Our last breakup, Charlie hit me in the face with a DVD player. Now that sounds bad. I was, however, breaking in through our bedroom window. She locked me up 4 hours beforehand. And instead of answering my calls, she put on some documentary about rabbit farming. A soundscape of high-pitched, desperate squealing. And when I busted in through the window, Charlie started yelling too, and I was pretty much planning on putting her head straight through the television set so that everything would just shut up. These are thoughts that normal people do not have. The next thing I remember, I was on the ground under the window, gasping and flopping like a fish on the floor of a boat. Nose blood trickling down my cheek and soaking into the collar of my shirt. In the emergency room, waiting for the doctor to set my nose, I told Charlie, we're through. We're bad for each other. She gave an upside-down shrug from where she plopped herself onto the exam table. It is what it is, Dee. What if I don't want it to be? She propped herself on her elbow, a fine dust of my blood on her face and hands. Good luck with that, she said. Right before the goodnight kiss, Amber finally asks about the stain. She's pressed up all warm, girl weight. I told her I cut myself shaving. And then I take her hand and wish her good luck. It is what it is. Somewhere in the dark, trains are picking up speed. Limbs being amputated, flesh being peeled away from bones. Charlie? Charlie! Charlie! Nothing happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the world expert of the comeback sensation of the animal kingdom. Here's Elliot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm standing here wrapped than a feather boa? Well, I'll tell you. It's in honor of my favorite creature of the sky, which just so happens to be the topic of my biology assignment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the trumpeter swan. With a snow-white body and ebony beak, trumpeters have a deep, penetrating honk that warns us to the... Penetrating? Are you crazy? They'll laugh me out of the classroom. Heathens. Let's just say a loud honk. A loud honk that warns it will fight any encroacher. But catch a swan and it goes limp in your hands. Limp? Well, I don't think that'll fly. Swans know when to give up. Trumpeters were killed for their feathers, used for quills, feather boas, powder puffs, and other fashionable items. Oh yes, fashionable items. That's good. But then, in 1933, they looked around and the party was over. They figured only 30 trumpeter swans were left. They practically cleared the place. So, what they did was, they made the swan an endangered species and preserved precious precious nesting grounds. Don't give those maniacs an inch. Now, there were over 8,000 trumpeters. Last year, a swan stayed here, alone. They don't know why, but nature is returning, healing herself. Nobody remembers a trumpeter swan ever coming back here before. This year, the swan may come back, and I personally am on the lookout for her. Because when she flies overhead, I can see her, the bird of fearless solitude. You're killed for your feathers, your beauty sacrifice. Fly back to me. Your blood runs like mine, and your cry. Your call to me is a secret, an old code, a memory.
July 27th, I'm still 17. So last week, right, I'm coming back from Toshiro's, I get off the bus and it's dark out. And there's this park on the way home. It's not big or anything, not a lot of trees or anything, but there's just not any light. And this park goes straight from the bus to the street, right? And if you don't take it, it's 100 miles around to get home, and I'm late already. And I get off the bus, and all I'm thinking about is getting home before Dawson Creek starts. And then I look around, and I'm halfway through the park. And it's really, really dark, so I'm thinking, oh great, why am I here? I'm gonna get dragged into a bush. And I'm looking around, and it's just as far back as it is ahead. So I keep going, really intense, you know? My hand is in my purse on my rape alarm, and the other's in a fist like this when it keeps poking through. And I'm listening, and I'm checking around like crazy. I mean, if I'm gonna die, right? But I'm not gonna make it easy for him. So I live, and I turn on the show, and I'm thinking and thinking, why? Why do I do that? I mean, I know it's a war zone out there, and you only have to mess up once, so why do I keep ending up on the edge every once in a while? Because this wasn't the only time I forgot for any court danger, whatever. You hold some guy's eyes too long on the bus. You kiss someone you don't know very well, maybe, because you feel like it. You get a little wasted at a party, too many people. If it ever happened, it's your fault. Nobody believes all you ever wanted was a look, a kiss, or a beer. Nobody cares what you wanted. Whatever. Anyways, I started thinking, what if zoning out or pushing the limit or whatever is only a symptom? What's the real reason? And I narrowed it down to 5. 5 situations I get into 5 reasons I get into situations where I might possibly get assaulted or killed. 1, stupidity. Like the world couldn't exist without me. So I'm gonna live forever. I'm cute, I'm nice, I have long straight hair. Who would want to hurt me? 2, ancestor worship. That's not a joke. Makes more sense than God. At least you know your ancestors used to exist. Maybe I think that somehow Grandpa will protect me. Why not? He always did. 3, Buffy syndrome. I took Wenda. I watched Xena. I'm waiting for someone to start something so I can try out my awesome new moves. This theory may include the Dirty Harriet factor. With all these scumbags around, I'm mad as hell. I'm waiting for some punk to make my day. 4. So here's where it starts to get weird. Maybe in the end, if I was really stuck, and he was really going to, maybe in my heart, I know I would rather die than let him do that to me. And if given the chance, I'd rather kill him than either. And somehow that makes me stronger. Right, 5. 5 is that I want it to happen. I hate all this pussyfooting around. I hate being a virgin. Sometimes I hate my life. But I'm too shy to ask for what I want. So deep down, I'm waiting for some guy to just take me over. Take away the responsibility, and subconsciously, I'm putting up the signals until some guy's man enough to just take charge.
which also happens to be the topic of my biology assignment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the trumpeter swan, with a snow-white body and ebony beak. Trumpeters have a deep, penetrating hung-out horns. Cut. Penetrating? Are you crazy? They'll laugh me out of the classroom. Heathens. Let's just say, a loud honk. Yeah, a loud honk. It will fight any encroacher, but catch a swan and it goes limp in your hands. Swans, limp? Nah, I don't think that'll fly. Yeah. Swans know when to give up. Trumpeters were killed for their feathers, used for quills, feather boas, powder puffs, and other fashionable items. Yeah, fashionable item. That'll do. But then, in 1933, they looked around and the party was over. They practically cleared the place, but they practically cleared the place. So now there are over 8,000 trumpeters, and this season the trumpeter may come back, the swan may come back, and I am personally on the lookout for her because when she flies overhead, I can see her. The bird of fearless solitude. I can see her. The bird of fearless solitude, killed for your feathers, your beauty sacrificed. Fly back to me, your blood runs like mine. Your call, it's a secret, an old code, a memory.
Of how much can you take? Like in ballet. I was in ballet for like 8 years, and the teacher was this old woman who couldn't even dance, and her spine was all twisted out of whack like this. I guess she used to be beautiful, and she was this close to being famous. And some disorder or something started messing with her spine, and it twisted her all around and made her useless. Useless was her word. She said if I was going to be useless, to get out of her class because she hated all useless people, including herself. That the useless are what the useful feed their dogs for treats. She wouldn't call us ballerinas. We were just girls. When I was 7, she screamed in my face, "You're not a real ballerina until you bleed through your white shoes!" And white shoes are so hard to bleed through. But I tried. I walked around at home on point. I scraped, grinded my toes into the stiff old carpet in the basement for half an hour before class. I cried. I was in pain for months. One class, I was gasping and sweating, and I couldn't hear the piano for the pain. She was still screaming at me. My toes were sticky in my shoes. I could feel them, but not enough, because the screaming still. So when she looked away, I kicked my toes into the floor. And I was down, screaming into the floor. They dragged me into a corner, the shoes were coming off, sliding away from my toes. I couldn't stop screaming, it hurt so much. And she was over me, and she was smiling. She smiling. I was looking up at everyone, looking down at me, and she held up the bloody shoes and she said, "We have a ballerina!" I don't dance anymore. That moment went away, and it never came back. When I was 12, I met Angie. Ballet didn't seem as important anymore, so I quit. Angie is more challenging. It's that moment, again and again with Angie. That moment forever. You just take it all, you bleed through your shoes and smile. Should have quit sooner. Ballet, I mean.
When I was 5, I hit my brother in the face with a hammer, because he deserved it. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think what I did was wrong? Do you? Well, fuck you. Fuck you. Who are you to decide? You think it matters what we think? It doesn't. We're nothing. Nobody's. In the grand scheme of everything, we are a speck in space and time. Do you think our laws, our ethics, our morals mean anything? You're fucking delusional. They're ideas, notions, concepts in transition. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill," but we're still strapping people to tables and injecting them with lethal drugs as we read to them from the Bible. 30 years ago, we were sterilizing people with substandard IQs so the stupid couldn't spread. And that was here in good old Canada, our home and native land, where we built our homes literally on the natives' land. We won't teach our kids about sex, but we'll let them watch HBO? Come on, we're confused morally. So we ask God what to do. Which God? Whose God? The one who spoke to Charles Manson? The one who convinced a bunch of poor, undereducated schmucks to fly a plane into a building for some hypothetical afterlife orgy? The one who hates gay people? Fuck that guy. So what do? We buy those ribbons or pins or little yellow bracelets from Starbucks or Home Depot. Those bracelets aren't for cancer. They're for you. So you can look down and feel like a better person because you're wearing your humanity on your sleeve. But we just want to do the right thing, right? So who do we talk to? A lawyer? About morals? Your parents? They just want you to grow the fuck up. A therapist? He's just going to listen, say, "How does that make you feel?" Take your money and schedule the next meeting. What about what Danny Tanner says, the dad on Full House? Use what's in your heart. You know what's in my heart? Blood. That's it. We don't know what's right anymore because right does not exist. We can justify anything. This is complicated stuff. I can uncomplicate it. Here's what you want. You want what's best for you right now. What do you want to do? You want help. I want to help you. I can help you. I can make it easy. This is where we begin. 1 hour, cash only. And how does that make you feel?
I can't believe I'm going to tell you this, but I'm a nice person. In general. Maybe that's the problem. I tend not to speak up much when I'm upset. I just think it's my problem. Deal with it. Why make anyone else deal with it? That's just greedy. I don't know. Maybe I have taken advantage of me, tattooed on my forehead. I don't know. Maybe I have had 3 boyfriends in the past 6 years, and all of them have cheated.
one did to send me over the edge. We were in a choir. Not professional. Well, he was professional. He was in band. So he calls me up one night, and he says, "It's over. There's someone else." She must have perfect pitch, I find myself thinking. Then I'm deathly quiet. On the phone, I'm deathly quiet. My mind goes blank. All I remember is grabbing my coat, walking out the door, hailing a cab to his place while grabbing a value pack of 12 pork chops on the way there. I open his door, because I still have the key, right? And he's playing at a gig. I go over to his voice box and I put the message in and say, "Hi, you've reached Jack's Dungeon. For Ask Play, press 1. For Water Play, press 2. If you are an insecure woman and don't mind a man who treats you badly and farts in his sleep, please leave Jack a message after the beep." Then I leave the apartment. And I leave the door open just a little bit, so that there's just, because it's not the nicest apartment, you know? So I go over to the place where he's playing, and it's raining. My hair is stringy and wet, and my makeup is running. And I look like the girl from Carrie. And then when I get there, I feel possessed. Like something just came over me and I don't care anymore. So I walk up to the stage and he doesn't even see me until I'm right in front of his face. And he says, "Holy shit, honey, what are you doing here?" I just grab the microphone and I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, it may interest you to know that this man here is a cheater, cheater, cheater. He's a motherfucking cheater!" And everybody gasps. I say, "Surely, at least one person here has been cheated on." And all the ladies raise their hands up, almost all of them. And then some of the men do too. And I just say, "You know what I think? How do I put this? Fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Normally, I'm a nice person. But when there comes a time when a nice person has to stand up for themselves, they have to say fuck 'em. And I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I deserve to be happy. And I will live to see the day that I am. I am going to be so happy, 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 and he will never know what he missed out on." So, if any of you understand what I'm saying, come with me across the street, and I will buy you a beer with my cheating boyfriend's credit card. And so we did. You know what the sad part is, though? Well, it's not the sad part. It's not the happy part, it's the sad part. Yeah. I still miss him. You think after all of that, I would have learned my lesson. I wouldn't be sad. That I'd be satisfied. But I'm not.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. So here's what all went down. We broke up last year. We've been dating for 6 months. He was smart and funny, and none of you were scared of mom. I thought it was going really well. We had sex in 5 different positions. He came, I came 3 times. It was great. And afterwards, I asked him if he wanted to go to breakfast at a restaurant over there down the road. He rolled over and said, "Oh, yeah, sure, we can go to breakfast as friends." I, of course, thought he was joking. I mean, what other resource would a person have? We weren't friends. I haven't been friends for the past 6 months. I was decidedly not his friend 3 times that morning. So I just looked at him and said, "Oh, yeah, sure, no, but you can have the first shower." He just looks at me and says, "Look, I'm so glad you're okay with this. Marcus said you wouldn't understand. I just really feel the shared energy has run its course." I mean, what kind of petty bullshit is that? I mean, if you want to end a relationship, fine, but there's a time and a place, you know? You don't tell someone you've been seeing for 6 months, someone whose body we're just inside of, that you want to go to breakfast as friends. Like, yeah, sure, oh my god, let's get some elderberry waffles and some mimosas and toasted dirty fucking friendship. Just the other day, I put on a bikini, put on some bright red lipstick, grabbed a beach towel, and off the subway. Ugh, it was packed. There were people everywhere. I had my face in some guy's armpit. But I had feeling something pressing against my leg, and I figured it's just someone's purse or briefcase, you know. But then I feel the distinct pressure of a man's erection pressing right against my thigh. And I turned to look, and there was this other piece of shit in a $1,000 suit just staring at me and grinning at me. And then he leans over, cuts me right in the crotch, and says, "Who's this for, pretty girl? Those red lips for me?" And I swear, in that moment, time slowed right down. All I could feel was my heartbeat and his hand on me. Because as a woman with perfect bright red labial lips, I was just never to grab, like he was going apple picking. Men are such pigs, you know? But then, I just screamed. I screamed and I screamed, and I heard these sounds come at me, and then they weren't words, because I do it professionally, you know? I was like an animal. I was just prehistoric. And I was speaking in tongues at some point, so who knows how much it is real. But then, get this, I lean over and I grab him right in the nuts, and I pull hard. I think I felt something rip. And then I headbutt him right in the nose. Blood was gushing out everywhere. He had bright red lips too. We matched. Oh man, he should have been there. Bright red lips and a stranger's hand are such a joke. It was magnificent. What do you got there?
Here we go. This is the one. 1, water. That's the color of milk, and you don't know why. 2, gremlins. Even the nice ones. 3, Big Bird. He's the one that really makes the hair on the back of my eyes just stand up. It's those beady eyes, always staring, judging. It's the same way with Peter. He gets it from our dad, though, so he comes by it honestly. I was lucky enough to get Mom's demeanor. She died, our mom. Malignant mesothelioma. It always struck me as odd that something so ghastly could have such a lovely name. Mesothelioma. I'll tell you one thing that's not on my list, and that's bloody death. I actually find the idea of it kind of exciting. I mean, picture it. You get hit by a Land Rover or something. That part's quite unpleasant, I'd imagine. But then you float up into the sky and you look down at your body, and for the first time, you really get an objective sense of whether your thighs are actually as out of proportion as you thought they were. And you turn your face to the sky and you float through the pearly gates like Wonder Woman or Supergirl or whichever one it was that could fly, and you see God, and you shake his hand, or you wave if you don't like touching, and you say, "Well done, God. You are doing some wonderful work down there. Pity about all the bombs and things, but who am I to judge?" And then you look behind him, and you see Byron, the turtle who died when you were 9, and he's walking around all pompously, because it's the afterlife. It actually has all 4 of his little legs this time around. And then just behind him, you see Boots, and Daisy, and Basha, and Fatty. And then, at the very back, covered in cat hair, and holding an enormous mug of tea, is my mom. And she gives me a squidgy hug. And she says, "Welcome home, darling. I've missed you." What's so scary about that?
But I have a good reason. Okay, let me tell you the story. There was one homeless guy. One homeless guy who lived in front of my house. I mean, like, yes, I thought we would like pack up his things and move on eventually, but no, he didn't. Instead, my wife started feeding him just little snacks at first, you know, like apples, orange, sandwiches, whatever you want, but basically snacks. But it became full meals really fast, like really, really fast. And like after that, he had his own requests about what he wanted to eat. I mean, what kind of homeless people is that? I mean, we're offering him food and he asks for a special kind of food. You know, I mean, I couldn't really good. And second of all, he asked my wife to feed the homeless people in town. I mean, like, the worst she did, you know? I mean, I couldn't, for me, like, at this point, she would do anything for this guy. Anything. Like, I couldn't stand it. Like, I was done. But the day that I was really done, it was when, like, he was trying to use a shower. I mean, that, no. I mean, sorry, but, like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, you're not gonna put your fucking, you know, your dirty feet in that shower. Like, sorry, but, like, so, one night, I just went to him with a big wallet cash in my hand. I mean, like, $1,000 at least. I mean, like, what would you do with that $1,000? I mean, we made a lot of things, but he didn't take it at all. He said that was out of the question. That since he got, like, an important part of the community now, he should say something about it, you know, about the people who doesn't like him to be in the neighborhood. Literally, I think I was silent for 2 minutes when he told me that. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, and part of the community, like, who the fuck do you think you are? Sorry, like, the first thing that came to my mind was to grab the line that my wife bought and hand away, so we could be at night. I don't know why the fuck she bought it, but I mean, like I said, she would do anything for the guy. So the first thing that I did, let's say this is a lamp. I grabbed the lamp, and I hit him twice with it like that, exactly how I showed it to you. And then after that, I just went to my place to call the police on myself. I mean, like, I was denied bail because my wife didn't act as a surrogate. I mean, like, which is fine. I mean, just because the wife, the guy who I attacked and that my wife literally like adopt, it's not my basement. Like, and the best part of it, his name is Mike.
1, water that's the color of milk and you don't know why. 2, gremlins, even the nice ones. 3, Big Bird. He's the one that makes the hair stand up on the back of my thighs. It's the beady eyes, always staring, judging. It's the same way with Peter. He comes by it honestly, though. He gets it from our dad, so he comes by it honestly. I was lucky enough to get Mom's demeanor. She died, our mom. Malignant mesothelioma. It always struck me as odd as something so ghastly had such a lovely name. Mesothelioma. I'll tell you one thing that's not on my list. That's death. I actually find the idea quite exciting. Picture it.
you get hit by a Land Rover or whatever. That's quite unpleasant, I'd imagine. But then you float up out of your body and you look back. For the first time, you get the objective sense that your thighs aren't actually as out of proportion as you thought they were. You float up past the pearly gates like Wonder Woman or Supergirl or whichever it was that could fly. And you see God. You shake his hand, or you wave, if you don't like touching. And you say, "Well done, God. You've done some wonderful work down there. Pity about all the bombs and such, but who am I to judge?" And behind him, you see Byron the turtle, who died when you were 9. He's walking around all pompously because it's the afterlife, and he's got all 4 of his little eggs this time around. Behind him, you see Boots, Basha, Daisy, and Fatty. And in the very, very back, covered in cat hair, holding an enormous mug of tea, is my mom. She pulls me in for a squidgy hug and says, "Darling, I've missed you. Welcome home." Now what's so scary about that?
The one I liked best was 17, maybe 18, and pretty, with watery eyes, like a doe's. She was like that. I was her first. I mean, she was a virgin. A man could tell. She said she wasn't, but the way she bled and cried, I knew. I didn't mean to hurt her. Every time she cried out, I pulled back. I wanted it to last. I never cared for orgasm like some men. They only think about coming. They rush through like they're pumping iron, just wanted to come. Not me. Once you come, that's it. It's over. And there you are, facing the same old things you were before you started. I don't care for the world much. Of course, it don't care much for me either, so big deal, huh? It don't care for me. I don't care for it. Big deal. The doctors, they make me laugh, trying to figure me out why I'm like this. No one agrees. Dr. Casanova, yeah. Casanova. I think he's joking when he tells me his name. I laugh in his face, and he stares back. He's got eyes like a chicken's, beady, small. So I don't say nothing. We have 106 sessions and I don't say anything. Not a word. We stare at each other for 1 hour, 106 times. He thinks I'm a passive aggressive. I think he's fucking nuts. They bring in another doctor, a woman. She comes in with a bodyguard, because I'm dangerous. That's what the bodyguard said. Dangerous. I says to her, "Wanna fuck?" She says, "And then go to the forest?" I see what she's doing. Egging me on, trying to trick me, get me to talk. I look at her and I think this woman hasn't done it except in a nice soft bed. And she doesn't do it much. And she doesn't like it when she does do it. She's got tight, puckered lips. I says to her, "Is your ass like your mouth?" She says, "No, one exhales, the other inhales, don't yours?" She's funny. So I talk to her. Except, I don't tell her where the bodies are. I don't remember.
You'll be there since I picked up.
Lots of kids hate their dads for different reasons at different times. Some kids hate their dads because they want to shoot speed into their arms. Dads don't let them. Dads try to stop them. So they say, "Fuck off, Dad, fuck off. I'm shooting speed into my arm and you can't stop me." And that's because they're into speed. But I would never do that because I don't hate my dad. My dad is my best friend, and I get to see him every week. It starts Monday at 3:45. I wait for him in the park across the street from the school, and he's never late like other kids' parents. We go do something totally bohemian, like go bowling or for pizza, and I have to say, it's the best moment in my entire life, because there's so much to talk about, and we're both hilarious. Like, every time I say I'm thirsty, he says I'm Friday. It's just something between us, like father-daughter. And then we go down to his apartment. It's a downtown condo where I have my own room with a nameplate on the door that says Albert. For a joke, I say to him, Albert. And I have lots of posters, no pets. I do my homework. We just hang out, and then I go to sleep. And when I wake up on Tuesday morning, it's the worst moment in my entire life, because it's the beginning of a whole next week of not seeing him. So on Tuesday mornings before class, I come down here to get control of myself. But Tuesdays are also sophisticated, because my dad leaves for work before me, so I get about 20 minutes in the apartment all by myself, which is a very special time for me, which I like to think of as my teen time. I'll drink juice, but out of a coffee mug. I'll stare out at the vast cityscape, listening to the top music of my time. And, okay. But mostly I do my thing that I do. I take one of my dad's socks from a pair and I put a snack in it. A pudding cup, a juice box, whatever. I just do it as a sort of joke game to see if he'll notice that anything's missing. And then I take hair from my mom's brush and I put it under my dad's pillow to help them get along. I learned that in voodoo class. And then I kind of sneak around to find out information. And there's a lot of information. Look what I found out, for example, 6 months ago. These stilettos. I went to my dad next time, like, look what I found by accident. What are these? And he went like, fake normal? Oh, those belong to Sydney. I'm like, who? Sydney is a very special friend of mine. I don't want to sound precocious, but I know a euphemism when I hear one. And I knew when I finally saw her by her boobs just how special she was. It was like 2 flying saucers from another planet had come down and landed right on her chest. She walked into my dad's apartment on a Monday night, all globbed over in nail polish and lipstick, and wearing a mink coat with no care for the animals, and wearing high heels 6 feet off the ground, which are bondage. Those are bondage for women. You can get very good, supportive shoes. My grandmother died from osteoporosis. The bones in her feet crumbled. They fell apart. And they had big knobs on the ends of them, so she couldn't even hardly walk. She told me it was from wearing high heel shoes. Now, I'm only 12 3/4, but even I know that. So Sydney's, like, stupid. Sydney's stupid. She says to me, kiddo, she says, let's you and me be such good friends. We could just do girl stuff. Stuff your dad can't do, because he's a guy. And we can be such good girlfriends, and you can tell me all your problems. And I'm like, think about it, Sydney. And that's just one example of her brain.
Cut. That's a wrap on her horror, folks. Give her a big round of applause. Everybody, let's take 5. Make sure our talent's ready for when we get back.
You know, she was good, but I think I can do better. My dad. The character was still full-limbed, but hard of hearing when he died. Still asking A after every sentence I spoke, but quick to hear the sound of change falling to the ground. Death was no big surprise for him. The thing he couldn't get out from under was the day she left. I found him holding a piece of paper she had left on the kitchen table. He held it for a long time, and then simply folded it and put it in his pocket. Where's Mom? I asked. He said, she went out for a walk. I figured she went to the IGA or something. Somebody was always having to go to the IGA. But when she didn't return and he didn't move, I started complaining about the big fact that I was supposed to get new running shoes today. I was supposed to go downtown today. I was supposed to get hamburger and milkshakes and fries today. It was supposed to have been a good day, and now I had to wait. I was getting pissed off because I was tired of going to the Salvation Army for smelly clothes. I felt like I was going to be normal like everyone else when Mom said we could go to the Army and Navy to get something new. Something that smelled good, something that nobody had ever worn before. Blue suede running shoes, 3 stripes on either side. But when she didn't return and he didn't move, I figured it was a master plan, both of them against me being normal. I started yelling. The injustice was too great. And my dad just stood there like he didn't hear anything. Get in the truck, he said. And we went. We got hamburgers and fries and all the food I could see in the posters on the walls of the Woolworths cafeteria on Hastings Street. And we went to the Army and Navy. We went home. No Mom, again. Where's Mom, again? He said, she left us. I didn't know anything was wrong. He sat down. I took my running shoes off. I would never wear them again. Nothing was ever going to be normal.
I don't know if I believe in God. If he does exist, I'd like him to explain why my mother is dead and my father is alive. What could be the greater purpose? If he exists, I'm angry with him. Very, very angry. But I love church. Mama and I will put on our pretty dresses, white gloves, and holy shoes. We will go hand in hand, leading the rest of the faithful to the Salvatorian church. All the Baptist and Mission Church members, they went to the church on Sundays, of course. However, to stay off the path on Saturday mornings, or risk getting lectures from our church elders. Papa didn't go with us. He got there early for church business. We sat at the front, an example of a loving family. In church, Papa was kind and quiet. If people would say, "Oh, what a lovely daughter do you have!" he would say, "Oh, thank you, God." He wouldn't pray the way he would on any other day. That one day a week, my father was guaranteed to be kind and quiet. Mama was happy at the church too. She didn't have to make peace. Peace was already there. I love singing hymns with her. She just has a beautiful voice. The next day, my father will wake up early and spend the whole day at fishing. After getting his pay, he will go to the store with the other man. It was my job for asking him for the money before he drank it all away. I was his ugly big either now. He loved making fun of me in front of his friends. The Kansas Saturday churchman was gone. Jane, please believe me when I tell you that if you come home drunk again, it will be the last time you come home to me. I will not see you. I will not. Do you understand? Te lo digo. Muy, muy en serio.
Stand up, please. Oh. So, that's not really exactly what we're looking for here, honestly. Let me show you how it should be done. Jackson, sir, here, please. Go. Thank you so much. Here. This is how it should be done. I don't know if I believe in God. If he does exist, I would like him to explain why my father is alive and my mother is dead. What could the greater purpose be? If he exists, I'm angry. Very, very angry. But I love church. Mama and I would put on our pretty dresses, white gloves, and polished shoes. We would walk hand in hand meeting the rest of the faithful on the way to the Sabbath church. All the Baptist and Mission church members, they went to church on Sunday, of course, met. They learned to stay on the path on Saturday mornings, risk of getting lectures from our church elders. Papa didn't walk with us. He got there early for church business. We sat at the front, an example of a loving family. In church, Papa was kind and quiet. People said, "What a lovely daughter you have." He would say, "Thank you. God has blessed us." That one day a week, my father was guaranteed to be a kind and quiet. He was nice. Mama was happy at church too. She didn't have to make peace. Peace was already there. I love singing hymns with her. She has a lovely voice. The next day, Papa would wake up early and spend the whole day fishing. After getting his pay, he would go straight to the shop at the end of the road with the other men. I would have to bring him dinner. Mama said it was better if he didn't drink on an empty stomach. It was my job to ask him for money before he drank it all up. Anyways, sometimes he would torment me for hours before giving me the money. We needed so badly. I was his ugly, big-eyed girl. Now he loved making fun of me in front of his friends. The kind Saturday church man was gone. Jamie, please believe me when I tell you that if you come here drunk again, it will be the last time you come to me. I will not wait to see if you are different from him. Do you understand? That's more like it. Do you understand?
Let me show you how it's done. Betty. Her name was Betty. Betty with the beautiful eyes, blue, blue, blue. Long dark lashes, soft blonde hair. She didn't weigh more than a pound. My absolute favorite doll. Barbie was too bony. Her tits scared me, and I never trusted Ken because she was too perfect. But Betty was mine. I don't know what I did, but I know I did something to make my mother angry. Real angry. She was probably having a hard day. Yeah, it was probably just one of those days. I was about 5, maybe 6. I probably did what every other 5-year-old does at one time or another, something that makes a parent's eyes turn funny. I told her I was sorry, but that wasn't good enough. That's not good enough, young lady. My mother probably told me this 1,000 times. Do you know what happens to young girls who misbehave? And that's what she did. I begged her not to. She wouldn't have it. She put Betty on a tray and threw her into the oven. And then there was this awful smell coming from the kitchen, and I was practically blind from all the tears in my eyes. My mother would come in every 10 minutes to check on Betty. Look, June, look what's happening to Betty. And she made me watch, and she made me promise I'd never misbehave again. Betty's arms and legs were melting, and her hair was sizzling, and it just went on until there was nothing left but a puddle of Betty and 2 blue eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the word expert on the comeback sensation of the animal kingdom. Here's Elliot. Thank you. I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm standing here wrapped in a feather boa. Well, I'll tell you. It's in honor of my favorite creature of the sky, who just so happens to be the topic of my biology assignment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the trump of the swan, with a snow-white body and ebony beak. Trumpeters have a deep penetrating honk that won't. Cut penetrating, are you crazy? They'll laugh me out of the classroom. Heathens, let's just say a loud honk that won't, it will fight any enclosure. But catch a swan and it goes limb in your hands. Limb, oh, I don't think that will fly. Swans know when to give up. Trumpeters will kill for the feathers used for quills, feather boas, powder puffs, and other fashionable items. Yes, fashionable items, that's good. But then in 1933, they looked around and the party was over. They figured only 30 trumpeter swans were left. They practically cleared the place. So what they did was they made the swan an endangered species and preserved precious mating. No, precious nesting grounds. Don't give those maniacs an inch. Now there are over 8,000 trumpeters. Last summer, a swan stayed here, alone. They don't know why, but nature is returning, healing herself. Nobody remembers a trumpeter swan ever coming back here before. This year, the swan may come back, and I personally am on the lookout for her. Because when she flies overhead, I can see her. I can see the bird of fearless solitude. Killed for your feathers, your beauty sacrificed. Fly back to me. Your blood runs like mine. and your quiet ultimate is a secret, an old code, a memory.
That was fine, but I think you should stick to cameras and leave the acting to the real actors.
Whatever, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the world expert in the comeback sensation of the animal kingdom. Here's Elliot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm sitting here wrapped in a feather boa. Well, I'll tell you. It's in honor of my favorite creature of the skies, which just happens to be the topic of my biology assignment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the trumpeter swan. With a snow white body and an ebony beak, trumpeters have a deep, penetrating, are you crazy? Laugh in the classroom. This is a loud honk. Loud honk that words will fight any encroacher. You catch a swan and it goes limp in your hands. I don't think that'll fly. Swans know when to give up. Trumpeters were killed for their feathers, used for quills, feather boas, powder puffs, and other fashionable items. Fashionable items, yeah, that's good. But then in 1933, they looked around and the party was over. They figured only 30 trumpeter swans were left. They practically cleared the place. So what they did was they made the swan an endangered species and preserved precious nesting grounds. Don't give those maniacs a pinch. Now there are over 8,000 trumpeter swans. Last year, the swan stayed here alone. They don't know why, but nature is returning, healing herself. Nobody remembers the swan staying here before. This year, the swan may come back. And I personally am on the lookout for her. Because when she flies overhead, I can see her. I can see the bird of fearless solitude, killed for your feathers, your beauty sacrificed. Fly back to me. Your blood runs like mine, and you cry. You're called to me like a secret, an old code, a memory.
And back from break, everyone. Where's Julia? Let's do some stage rehearsal. Julia. You're ready, Julia.
It's a question of how much you can take. Like in ballet. I was in ballet for 8 years. And the teacher was this old woman who couldn't even dance. Her spine was all twisted out of whack. I guess she used to be beautiful, and she was this close to being famous, but then some disorder or something started messing with her spine, twisted her all around and made her useless. Useless was her word. She said if I was going to be useless, to get out of the classroom because she hated all useless people, including herself, and that the useless are what the useful think their dogs for treats.
She wouldn't call us ballerinas.
She wouldn't call us ballerinas, just girls. When I was 7, she yelled in my face, "Crystal, you're not a real ballerina until you bleed through your point shoes."
Point shoes are so hard.
And point shoes are so hard to bleed through, but I tried. I walked around at home on point. I grinded my toes into the stiff old carpet in the basement for half an hour before class. One class I was gasping and sweating and could barely even hear the piano for the pain. And there she was, still screaming at me.
I couldn't stop screaming.
Oh, my
screaming still. So when she looked away, I kicked my toes into the floor and I was down screaming. Into the floor, they dragged me into a corner, and the shoes were coming off, sliding away from my toes. I couldn't stop screaming. It hurt so much. And she was over me. And she was smiling. She? Smiling? I looked up and her looking down at me, and she held up my bloody shoes and said, "We have a ballerina." I don't dance anymore. That moment went away and it never came back. When I was 12, I met Angie in ballet. Just didn't seem as important anymore. So I quit. Angie is more challenging. It's that moment. Again and again with Angie. That moment forever. Just put on it. You just take it all, bleed through your shoes, and smile. But I know, I should have quit sooner. Ballet.
Everybody wear stunts. Corona. Thank you. Let's do stunt rehearsal. Okay, we have first aid ready. Fire. Okay, let's go.
I think it's a question of how much can you take. Like in ballet, I was in ballet for like 8 years, and the teacher was this old woman who couldn't even dance. Her spine was twisted out of whack like this. I guess she used to be beautiful, and she was this close to being famous. And some disorder or something started messing with her spine, and it twisted her all around and made her useless. Useless was her word. She said if I was going to be useless, to get out of her class, because she hated all useless people, including herself. Useless are what the useful feed of dogs will treat. She didn't call us ballerinas. We were just the girls. When I was 7, she screamed in my face, "You are not a real ballerina until you bleed through your point shoes." The point shoes are so hard to breathe through. But I tried. I walked around at the home on point. I scraped, grinded my toes into the stiff old carpet in the basement for half an hour before class. in pain for months. One class, I was gasping and sweating, and I couldn't hit the piano for the pain. And she was still screaming at me. My toes were sticky in my shoes. I could feel them. But not enough, because the screaming still. So when she looked away, I kicked my toes into the floor. And I was down, screaming to the floor. They dragged me into a corner. My shoes are coming off, sliding away from my toes. I couldn't stop screaming. It hurt so much. And she was over me, and she was smiling. She? Smiling. I was looking at everyone looking down on me, and she held up the bloody shoes and she said, "We have a ballerina." I don't dance anymore. The moment went away and never came back. When I was 12, I met Angie, and ballet didn't seem as important, so I quit. Angie is more challenging. It's the moment again and again with Angie. It's the moment forever. You just take it all, believe through your shoes, and smile. I should have sooner. Ballet, I mean.
Okay, where's our motion capture? Right here, right here.
Can't believe I'm going to tell you this, but I'm a nice person. In general, maybe that's the issue. I don't speak up much. When I'm upset, I just figure, it's my problem, get over it. Why bother anyone else with it? That's just greedy. Maybe I'm just the kind of woman who has to take advantage of me tattooed to my forehead. I don't know. I've had 3 boyfriends in the last 6 years, and all of them cheated on me. All of them. What was it about the last one that sent me over the edge? Well, we met in a choir. I mean, not a professional choir. I mean, he was professional. He had a band. He actually confessed to me that the only reason he joined was to meet musical women. I didn't know what that meant, and I probably should have taken it as a warning instead of being flattered, which I was. He was always so dismissive when I was singing too. So he calls me one night, tells me it's over, that there's someone else. She probably has the perfect pitch. And I just remember my mind went blank. I'm quiet on the phone, deathly quiet. I remember grabbing my coat and heading out the door, hailing a cab and heading to his apartment, but stopping along the way for a value pack of 12 pork chops. So I get to his apartment and I let myself in, because I still have a key, right? And I know he has a gig. Then I go to his voicemail box and I change his outgoing message so it says, "Hi, you've reached Jack's Dungeon. For ass play, press 1. For water sports, press 2. If you have low self-esteem and don't mind a man who treats you badly and farts in his sleep, leave a message for Jack after the beep." And then I go around his apartment, hiding pork chops in places I know he won't find them immediately. Then I leave. But I leave the door open because it's not the nicest apartment. Then I head across to the bar he's playing at, and it's raining, and my hair is all stringy, my makeup's running down my face. I kind of look like Sissy Spacek from Carrie. Anyways, so I get to the bar, and I feel kind of possessed. Like nothing matters anymore. I just walk up to the stage where he's performing, and he doesn't notice me until I'm standing right behind him. He says, and he finally noticed me, and he says, "Jesus Christ, honey, what are you doing here?" And I take the mic from his hand, and this voice comes out of my mouth that says, "Cheater, cheater, cheater. And hear a few gasps from the audience, like I'm about to pull out a gun and shoot him. But I don't. I just say, ladies and gentlemen, it might interest you to know that the man who fronts this band, the band you've all come to see, is nothing more than a dirty, fucking cheater. And I hear a few gasps. So I continue and I say, surely someone out there has been cheated on, and almost all the women raise their hands. So the guys too. So I continue and I say, you know what I think? How do I put this? Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm normally a nice person, but there comes a time and a place where even a nice person just has to get mad and say, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, and just stand up for themselves. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but god damn it, I deserve to be happy. And I will live to see the day that I am. And this man will never know what he missed out on, because I'll be happy, happy, happy. And if any of you understand what's that mean, you can come across the street with me. And I'll buy you a beer using my cheating boyfriend's credit card. And so we did. Please believe me when I tell you, I'm normally a nice person. I'll tell you the funny part, though. Well, it's actually not funny. It's awful. I still miss him. You think that after all that, I'd know better, and I'd be satisfied? But I'm not. Anyone capture that?
I always wanted to be an actor, but somehow got stuck doing this. But scene 0, take 1, me. I guess it's a question of how much can you take. Like in ballet. I was in ballet for like 8 years, and the teacher was this old woman who couldn't even dance and had her spine just out of whack. Like, I guess she used to be beautiful. She was this close to being famous. And some disorder or something started messing with her spine and twisted her all around and made her useless. Useless was her word. She said if I was going to be useless to get out of her class because she hated all useless people, including herself, that the useless are what the useful feed their dogs for treats. She wouldn't call us ballerinas. We were just girls. When I was 7, she screamed in my face, "You are not a real ballerina till you bleed through your point shoes." And point shoes are so hard to bleed through. But I tried. I walked around at home on point. I grinded my toes into a stiff old carpet in the basement for half an hour before class. I cried. I was in pain for months. One class, I was gasping and sweating. I couldn't even hear the piano for the pain. She was still screaming at me. My toes were screaming. My toes were sticky in my toes. My shoes were sticky in my toes were sticky in my shoes. I could feel them, but not enough, because of screaming, still. So when she looked away, I kicked my toes into the floor. I was down. I was screaming into the floor. They dragged me to a corner. My shoes were coming off, sliding away from my toes. I couldn't stop screaming. It hurt so much. And she was over me. She was smiling. Smiling. I was looking up at everyone looking down on me, and she held up the bloody shoes, and she said, "We have a ballerina." I don't dance anymore. That moment went away and never came back. When I was 12, I met Angie, and ballet didn't seem as important, so I quit. Angie is more challenging. It's that moment again and again with Angie, that moment forever. You just take it all in, bleed through your shoes, and smile. I should have quit sooner. Ballet, I mean. Maybe I should stick to this.
Okay, we have the international guy now, Mr. Jushin. Where's Jushin? Oh, here you are.
Scene 4, take 5!
Sound.
Speed.
Action. When I was 5, I hit my brother in the face with a hammer. Because he deserved it. Now let me ask you a question. You think what I did was wrong? Do you? Well, fuck you. Fuck you. Who are you to decide? You think it matters what we think? It doesn't. We are nothing. Nobodies. In the grand scheme of everything, we are just a speck in space and time. You think our ethics, our laws, our morals mean anything? You are fucking delusional. They are ideas, notions, and concepts in transition. The Bible says, thou shalt not kill, but we are still strapping people to the tables and injecting them with the lethal drugs, as we read them from the Bible. 30 years ago, we were sterilizing people with substandard IQ, so the stupid couldn't spread. And that was here in our good old Canada, our home, our native land, where we built our homes literally on the native land. We won't teach our kids about sex, but we'll let them watch HBO? Come on! We are confused morally. So we ask God what to do. Which God? Whose God? The one who spoke to Charles Manson? The one who convinced a bunch of poor, undereducated schmucks to fly a plane into a building for some hypothetical afterlife orgy? The one who hates gay people? Fuck that guy. So what do? We buy ribbons or pins or those yellow bracelets from Starbucks or Home Depot. Those bracelets aren't for cancer. They are for you, so you can look down and feel like a better person, because you are wearing your humanity on your sleeve. But we just want to do the right thing, right? So who do we talk to? A lawyer? About morals? Your parents? They just want you to grow the fuck up. A therapist? He's just going to listen and ask, how does that make you feel? Take your money and schedule the next meeting. What about what Danny Tanner says? The dad's on Full House? Use what's in your heart. You want to know what's in my heart? Blood. That's it. We don't know what's right anymore, because right doesn't exist. We can justify anything. This is complicated stuff. I can uncomplicate it. Here's what you want. You want what's best for you right now. So what do you want to do? You need help. I want to help you. I can help you. I can make it easy. This is where we begin. 1 hour, cash only.
That was awful. What? Absolutely terrible. It's like anything what I was looking for. Did you listen to any of my
You know people pay millions of dollars for the role in the film.
Do they? Do they?
And you're saying I'm good enough?
I don't even know you.
You know what? Fuck you. I'm over. I'm leaving.
The door is that way. You can leave.
Fucking Americans! I'm guilty murderer!
Sure. See if you can get better than that guy. Oh, go. Okay.
Scene 4, take 6.
Action.
When I was 5, I hit my brother in the face with a hammer. Because he deserved it. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think what I did was wrong? Do you? Well, fuck you. Fuck you. Who are you to decide? Think it matters what we think? We're nothing. Nobodies. In the grand scheme of everything, we are a speck in space and time. Think our laws, our ethics, our morals mean anything? You're fucking delusional. They're ideas, notions, concepts in transition. The Bible says, thou shalt not kill, but we're still strapping people to tables and injecting them with lethal drugs as we read to them from the Bible. 30 years ago, we were sterilizing people with substandard IQs so the stupid couldn't spread. And that was here, in good old Canada, our home and native land, where we built our homes literally on the natives' land. We won't teach our kids about sex, but we'll let them watch HBO? Come on. We are confused morally. So we ask God what to do. Which God? Whose God? The one who spoke to Charles Manson? The one who convinced a bunch of poor, undereducated schmucks to fly a plane into a building for a hypothetical afterlife orgy? The one that hates gay people? Fuck that guy. So what do? We buy pins, or ribbons, or those little yellow bracelets you find at Starbucks or Home Depot. Those aren't for cancer. Those are for you. So you can feel better about yourself because you're wearing your humanity on your sleeve. But we just want to do the right thing, right? So who do we talk to? A lawyer? About morals? Your parents? They just want you to grow the fuck up. A therapist? He's just gonna sit there and listen and say, how does that make you feel? Take your money and schedule the next meeting. What about what Danny Tanner says? The dad on Full House. Use what's in your heart. Know what's in my heart? Blood. That's it. We can't do what's right anymore. Because right doesn't exist. We can justify anything. This is complicated stuff. I can uncomplicate it for you. Here's what you want. You want what's best for you right now. What do you want to do? You want help? I want to help you. I can help you. I can make this easy. This is where we begin. 1 hour, cash only.
Okay, since everyone's doing this, let me show you what I have. Betty. Her name was Betty. Betty with beautiful eyes. Blue, blue, blue. Long dark lashes, soft blonde hair. Didn't weigh more than a pound, my absolute favorite doll. Barbie was too bony, her tits scared me, and I never trusted Ken. Too perfect. But Betty was mine. I can't remember exactly what it was I'd done, but I'd done something to make my mother angry. Really angry. She must have been having a hard day. Yeah, I'm sure she was just having one of those days. I was about 5, maybe 6. I probably did what every 5-year-old does at one time or another. Something that makes a parent's eyes turn funny. I said I was sorry, but that was not good enough. That's not good enough, young lady, my mother must have told me about 1,000 times. Do you know what happens to young girls who misbehave? That's when she did it. I begged her not to, but she wouldn't have any of it. She pops Betty onto a tray and throws her into the oven. Soon there was this awful smell filling the kitchen. I stood there practically blind for all the tears in my eyes. My mother walks in every 10 minutes to check on Betty. Look, June, look what's happening to Betty. She made me look, making me promise I'd always behave. Betty's arms and legs were melting, and her hair was sizzling. On it went till there was nothing left but a puddle of Betty and 2 blue eyes.
Finale time, please. First Hugh.
Scene 23, take 3.
Sound.
Sound.
Speed.
Action.
The one I liked best was 17. Maybe 18. And pretty. Big, watery eyes, like a doe's. She was like that. I was her first. She was a virgin. I mean, a man can tell. She said she wasn't, but the way she bled and cried, I knew. I didn't mean to hurt her. Every time she cried out, I pulled back. I wanted to make it last. I don't care for orgasm like some men. All they can think about is coming. They just rush through like they're pumping iron, just wanting to come. Not me. Once you come, that's it. It's over. And there you are, staring out at the same old world that was there before you started. I don't care for the world much. Of course, it doesn't care for me much either. So it's a big deal, eh? I don't care for it. It don't care for me. Big deal. The doctors, they make me laugh. They're trying to figure me out. Why I'm like this. Nobody agrees. Dr. Casanova. Yeah, Casanova. The first time he tells me, I think he's joking. I laugh in his face. He just stares at me. He's got eyes like a chicken's, small and beady. So, I don't say anything. We 106 sessions, and I don't say nothing. For 1 hour, 106 times we stare at each other in complete and total silence. He thinks I'm a passive-aggressive. I think he's fucking nuts. They send in a new doctor, a woman. She comes in with a bodyguard. Because I'm dangerous. That's what the bodyguard says. Dangerous. I say to her, wanna fuck? And she says, and then go to the woods. I know what she's doing. Trying to trick me. Egging me on. Get me to talk. I look at this doctor, and I think here's a woman who's only ever done it in a nice soft bed. And she doesn't do it often, and she doesn't enjoy it when she does do it. She's got a tight, puckered mouth. I say to her, is your ass like your mouth? And she says, no. One exhales, the other inhales. Don't yours? She's funny. I like her. So I talk to her. Except I don't tell her where the bodies are. I can't remember.
Congratulations, everyone. That's a wrap on our movie. Pretty crazy. We were able to make a historical drama film about events that happened 30 minutes ago.